Hey guys, I am here at Grant Manor in Roxbury neighborhood in Boston. I'm actually going to meet up with UFAD to meet up with residents here at Grant Manor to show you some of the conditions that they've been dealing with here. So as you guys can see, mask is required, so we will be wearing masks like during this.
Those new buildings are crap.
Yeah, going up?
Yeah, we're going into.
Of course, Main Street has been the case that there hasn't been really any desire to invest much of any money in housing more working and poor people. But buildings used to be like brick and different things like that. And now it's just gotten to the point where buildings are made of like a thin plywood that just easily catches on fire and just creates an even worse situation for people. No deterioration. So this is Myra.
Okay.
Hi, Myra.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Are we good to come in? Yeah. Okay. Myra, this is Sabby.
Nice to meet you. So what's been going on? I was telling her I noticed outside the building, it looks really nice on the outside.
That's exactly the outside. No problem. This is every week. They clear the garbage, they clean it up, they clean flowers, they concentrate on the outside. At the inside, as you can see, we started with the roof. You see that? That's cracking. When I moved here, everything was sealed. As you can see over there, you see in the front? That's how when I moved in. It was completely sealed.
In the wall.
That's how I started. Everything it was sealed completely. As years go by, now you can see it. How it's cracking. You see how it's getting? And the thing is, when it's the wind and the weather outside is windy, it moves. You can hear it. My closet, this closet and that one, I get terrified. When it's like that, I go put a pillow in my shower, a blanket, and I stay there.
This moves when it's windy?
Well, it's not, you can hear that. You know, that they say the building is forever. These buildings are not forever. As you can see the news, all the time is new. The bridges are falling, the buildings are falling down, the garage are falling down, the structure. So what do you think is going to happen? I mean, my fear is every day when it's a bad weather, this is how I get stressed, I get anxiety, I cannot sleep, I get out, I give either to my daughters or my granddaughter, because I don't know if this is going to follow me. As you can see, as years go by, it's different. And not only that, but the window fell on me, and they're so heavy, and now they're telling me that the people, the company, they have make it built with windows. They no longer there. So now, I mean, they are noticed they have problem with windows, but the company is not available. So what's going to happen? Not only that, but it's okay. Not only that, but we only got one exit here. As you can see, this is our kitchen. Where the exit is there. We don't got no other exit. You cannot stand in there, because if you stay there, you will fall. That's nothing just to be apparent, to make it look like it's a balcony, but it's not a balcony. You can see it's nothing but like not metal,
It's like a little terrace, but it's not.
Yeah, but you can put flowers that way. You cannot stand there.
I thought Massachusetts law you had to have two exits. I thought the case, and it would make sense that would be the case. I'm not sure about the law, but just as Myra was saying, like, okay, you got this right next to the kitchen.
And I want
Something
to I invite you right now.
Okay, fire, if there's a fire in the kitchen, this is the kitchen. If you can show them the kitchen here. This is the kitchen. The front door is here. This is the only exit. Do you know if they have the fire inspection come out?
They do in the bottom, for the things that shows where the fires, whatever, they'll come and inspect that, they'll come and see the hydrant, whatever that is. But not,
The last time there was any evaluation of the building, I believe, it was, Myra, wasn't it the asset evaluation? The asset reevaluation? They came around to say, you know, okay, we're gonna come around to like assess the value of this building. And what they do when they do that is they come around and they have someone go to the nicest apartments where they've already given new appliances and they fix things up intentionally for this kind of evaluation. They go around and say, okay, yeah, no, you know, this is the value is up to market rate. Actually, you know, we can keep the rents as high because that's what they're at pretty much right now. Although people get a subsidy, some people. So that was the last time that anyone came around to like inspect this building, so to speak, to assess the value of it.
and like I said, my main thing is the roof and the way to wait. And not only that, okay, I can do that, I can pull that. I can do that. But we got seniors in this building, so many seniors, we got handicaps. So what we saying with this? Not only the door is so heavy to open in a case of emergency, but also the window. So what are we doing for the seniors? I mean, we as the young people, we can pull, we can open, and we can do something, but the seniors, my main thing is my seniors. Seniors, we got here handicaps, we got wheelchairs, we got people that on oxygen. And I'm sorry, but I'm not complaining because I thank God for my place, and I'm not complaining. I'm grateful for this. But my concern is that in case of emergency and the you know.
Right. The woman we just saw in the elevator, so she was in a wheelchair. How would she open this door in case of emergency?
Not only these ones, but the outside. Have you noticed the outside for the doors? And the wheelchairs, thank God there's somebody always going around, and when they're not, it's hard for them to get out of the building. And I say all these fancy things outside, but it takes, you just touch a button and the doors automatically open. How we can have that for the senior? Why we don't think about that? We focus in the, okay, now they made handicaps, parking, perfect. But there's so many of them. Where the rest of the, you know, the tenants are going to go. That's another, so many issues that I cannot keep on going. Because all the time I talk about it, and this is how I see. And I don't mind, like I said, I'm thank God that I got this. But so many things they can do better. I mean, I don't have to make the whole new building. But, you know, the issues, these issues that we have, they should be taken care of.
That's right. Can we show them? I want to show them how just this door again. So like for someone like me, like there's pull there, but if you are like disabled or handicapped, you're in a wheelchair and you need to get out in emergency and you're trying to pull this door is going to be heavy for you to open and get out. That's a big problem. Can we show them I want to show them the separation up here, because this is a foundation problem here. And this is what we're talking about with the infrastructure. Once you start to get that separation, like that's not good. Have you talked to, the people that live above you?
No,
This is me.
This is the highest.
Oh, okay. So
It makes it pretty clear that there's an issue with the roof.
Right.
This is in most people's apartments on this floor. And then the leaks are up across every hallway on every floor. But yeah, they're pretty persistent on this floor especially. And then you can hear, this roof that's, different times of the day because of the wind, you can hear the stuff that's on the top, and then you also can hear slight shaking of the building.
that's crazy. Yeah. And we're on the, I'm going to show them so they can see out here.
7th floor.
We are on the 7th floor. So there's nowhere, like I said, if you can't get that door open because of how heavy it is, it's not like you can just dart out here. This is not a balcony. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, no. Like that right there is, I'm curious, have you spoken to, and I'm not sure if they would help, but have you spoken to Boston Housing, does Boston Housing Authority know about what's going on with this building?
Yeah, probably not. So it's not a housing authority building, but I know we've talked about this before. Like you lived under a slumlord and you contacted Cambridge Housing Authority, even though it wasn't Cambridge Housing Authority property. We've been starting this conditions campaign where we've really been trying to expose this stuff here. And it's possible that we can include Boston Housing in this stuff because we've been sending it out to mass housing and
The one who is the property management here is Wingate. The one who owns it is Planning Office for Urban Affairs. And those are private companies.
Okay.
And so we've been sending stuff out to them and to the press too. And so, yeah, if we did want to make Boston Housing aware of this stuff, we could. And I think, it could be effective in some way, but mostly and only for the fact that we're trying to expose the fact that Wingate here, the property management company here, is very intentionally running this place to deteriorate. And it's clear. It's clear through stuff like this. It's clear through their patch-ups of these issues. They recognize there's a problem. They don't want to fix it. They want to continue to say that, we raised the rents 2 years ago in order to be able to cover the costs of repairs. And that's why we did that. And we're going to do it at some point. We're going to fix the building at some point. But they just want to hold on to it. They don't actually want to do anything about that. And then eventually, even with the stuff that they did, the raising of the rents 2 years ago, it's called a markup to market. When they did that, it was pretty clear that even if it wasn't kicking out everybody, they were raising the rents so much that people that didn't have subsidy were now paying double or triple the amount of rent that they were paying before. And a lot of people left, And so it's clear that, through mechanisms like that, and then also this possibility of the contract here expiring and then being able to sell off the buildings at a certain point, that's probably their goal. And so, yeah, we could try to say something to Boston Housing Authority. We could say something to Wingate, which we are. We're sending the stuff to them. But I think that the main goal is to really expose the fact that that is their interest. That's their goal with this building. And most of these private management companies, as well as BHA and the privatizations, that's what they're trying to do: deteriorate in order to say, oh, we can't handle it anymore. We can't take care of it. We need to raise the rents because we don't get enough revenue.
Right, and for people who are not aware, we're right next to the South End, and the South End is an interesting place. Part of it's been like gentrified, part of it hasn't, but I think their goal is to push out the people who are not a part of that gentrified group, based on what I've seen. Because the South End is it's become kind of a hipster kind of, it's expensive to live on that part, and we are like touching that part of the South End. So I'm wondering if that's like their plan, because I've also noticed like certain parts of Roxbury, especially near the T station, Dudley, certain parts are becoming more gentrified. Right, that's crazy. Yeah, for people who don't know, like Roxbury is right next to downtown Boston. So some people will find it convenient to move here because of its proximity to downtown if they work in downtown Boston.
Exactly. Yeah, and the point that you're making of the South End is an important one. So you've got South End over here, right? There's actually this crazy statistic that someone that I work with found out that if you cross from this side of Mass Ave, where we are in Roxbury, to the other side to end up in South End, life expectancy increases by 30 years. That means when you cross over to this side of Roxbury, it drops by 30 years. So there's this distinct division of the population, but it's encroaching. So it's not just the fact that, garbage people over here, working class and poor people over here. There are luxury developments that are popping up around Grant Manor now, where we've been talking about this for a while. We've been working together for like 2.5 years, and over the course of that period of time, 3 different luxury developments, and they're now trying to destroy this deteriorated, dilapidated building over here on the corner to create luxury apartments as well. So it's happening all around this area. It's not so much just a strict division, but they're actually trying to seize on the land that where rents are a little bit low, and maybe like the land cost is a little bit low, in order to be able to turn a bigger profit. And in some ways it's increasing the border, making South End bigger in a sense. But overall, it's just trying to make some money off of these poor working class neighborhoods. It's so cute, because they can.
Who's the city councilor in this area? I don't know either.
I think.
High five. I know, I don't have so good.
I think her name is Tanya Anderson. And I could be, she has 2 last names, so I could be confusing it, but she's under Michelle Wu. I believe she's she actually has some response to the stuff going on here, let me tell you. So we've sent out these issues, right? We've been doing this kind of campaign thing, putting some pressure on both Wingate to fix up some stuff, but knowing that overall, that's not really in their interest so much, and we're trying to expose that fact to the press. And it's not in the city officials' interest either, and that's clear, because the way that they respond to this stuff is they send us emails, platitudes, like, oh, this is terrible, we support you, period.
Right.
And nothing else. And they want to have this, that she's actually going to hold a District 7 kind of public hearing for people to air their concerns. But then with that, even that's a PR stunt. They're not going to do anything. They're just doing that to pacify us, to say that we'll do a solution and we're going to let you speak your mind. But we're not actually going to do crap about the situation overall, and we can't because we're in bed with these people. We're in bed with the private management companies that are running this place down.
Well, it's just like Mayor Wu's husband, isn't he like a real estate developer?
Yes, or has some connections.
Some
to
connection.
it,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's just, yeah. The connection is with that. I think that like that's why I asked about the city councilor. I don't know if that's her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I don't know if Tito Jackson used to be really involved with a lot of this kind of like the housing issue. I don't know if he's still involved with that now or not. At least like in Roxbury he was. But also that was also when he was running for mayor too. So maybe that's just part of this campaign. But he used to be really like hands-on about this.
But once you asking the people to vote for you, and then you offer so many help, and then when it comes to time, that once you have that seat,
Yes.
you forget about all these promises. And I understand it's not all in your hands. You have to have people to come up with a solution. I mean, come on. We're not asking for millions, and we're not asking for condominiums, we're not asking to be luxury, we're not asking that. We're asking fair. Fair housing and fair apartment. And the rent is going so high. Where are we going to end up? This is all about, you can see Boston. Boston is changing. Boston looks like New York. High tower buildings, buildings. And then the people is, and I was thinking the people are homeless. They, from what they call that, Mass Avenue, where the people are hanging with drugs on it.
Yeah.
Most of the people, because we serve for, we serve them food, whatever, we do for the community, and most of them, when we ask them, they come from broken homes, or because they are no longer working, and they get depressed, so they go into the street, they don't got no way to go forward. I mean, that's how you feel when you get all this pressure on you, that you block. And that's how you go and be, what, I'm tired of this, I'm not going to, whatever, I just go and live my life out there. Most of them, they got money. Parents, they got money. Money. But they should, because they so much building in society, there's nothing else to do.
Yes, it's
And
such
they go out there and they look at them. And most of them, they lost a job, lost a family, whatever, and they go out and just don't care. But it's not fair. All these buildings, we got so many buildings that come in. Why can I open it? And I understand that not everybody wants to change. Not everybody got help. But the most of them want. Get them out of here, clean the city. Clean the city, because you're making all these buildings, but we still got the building outside.
That's right.
So what are we doing? What do you think, who are you going to impress?
It's changed a lot from when I moved here, like almost 11 years ago now. It's like Boston, it's very different.
When I was growing up here, we saw everything. It was faithful, everybody was helping each other, everybody was coming along. But now everybody wants to feel, no, this is mine, I don't want to help you, blah, blah, blah. And that's not right, because, look, we end up nowhere.
And there was these programs that existed here too for kids and stuff that were pretty great, and they brought people together. And these private management companies coming in, like over at Lennox, then also this effort to kind of just like say F you to these buildings and be like, we don't want to do anything about them, and making conditions worse for people has also been the collapse of these programs for kids with the excuse of COVID. And I think the point that Myra was making before is a key one. So like you've got all these politicians that promise you the world, right? It happens. It's happened time and time again. We've seen it time and time again here. When we first got involved here, there were a bunch of politicians that were flocking here because there were enough residents that were like pissed off about the rent increase, the conditions here, and a corrupt board that exists here as well that we can talk about at some point. But then they're like, okay, we're going to get a task force together and do something about this. There was even a politician named Andrea Campbell, which you may know, who used to live here. She grew up here. And so she's coming around like, I used to live here, I know what it's like here, blah, blah, blah. Even in that situation, with all of that, you know, that context and having lived here, they're not going to do anything about it. And they didn't do anything about it. Not even write a simple statement. But why? I think it's an important point because so many people see what's going on in gentrification. They're like, okay, the private developers, the capital coming in, these big capitalists, you know, they're like ruining our cities. But it's the politicians who are also working hand in hand with them because they're advancing the same exact interests. Which it's kind of complicated because it's not just the case that they want to run out working people and poor people entirely. They need them to work the businesses, to work the restaurants. They need to house them to some degree. But you can see it happening now where gentrification and the speculation that's happening on housing is so profitable that, and you know, it's raising these property taxes as well and whatever, that, you know, there's this whole push to make that happen in cities and to do that. But they can't run people out completely, but they are starting to. And so they're going against their own interests in a way of needing people to actually run this stuff, which just shows how faulty this whole fucking system is, you know? Like, they have this interest to advance, you know, to be able to make more money, to be able to turn a bigger profit off of speculating on this housing and this land and stuff. They're running people out as a result, and that's going against their interest of keeping their businesses running. And then what? The whole thing implodes? I think, you know, if it were up to them, it would. But that means that we have to actually have, you know, some say, some power. We need to bring people together. We need to oppose this stuff because otherwise, you know, they have no interest in you know, the working and poor people. Right?
That's right. That's right. Oh man. Yeah, I am so sorry that you're going through this because this is like, they know this is not okay. The people who manage the property, do they live on the premises here? Ah.
No, some of them do.
Okay.
Some of them do. But they're not in the building. They are in townhouses. That's like townhouses in the back. I don't know if they have down in the back.
Yeah.
That's houses. They have another building like this one by 40 about 2 floors. And in the apartment and then we got the townhouses.
The main people who run the actual like, companies, they live in like Newton.
Yeah, of course. It makes me so frustrated because we've dealt with like, I call them slum wards. We've dealt with like slum wards in Cambridge and Boston, and I remember like us like the water coming through the ceiling, and you remember that? And you wouldn't fix it?
Remember the south of the gas?
Yep. Remember the gas coming from the stove? It just, they
It was, yeah, I had an incident here. I was over outside. About 10 years, I think. Yeah, I was doing, on July, as a matter of fact, on July, I was making a dinner for my granddaughter's birthday, so I was preparing everything. And while I was preparing everything, I had the windows closed, I had the AC, whatever. And I was cooking, like, little bit, like more slower, my mouth. I was not able to punch because I was on speaker with my best friend. And so she was like, Mima, you okay? Mima, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, but I said, I don't know. But as we kept on talking, she didn't hear me. She's like, Mima. So she didn't hear me, so she calls 911. I don't know for what reason. She called 911 from where she was. And they came in, and I had carbon monoxide. I was like already out. So that's why now they changed, because I had two things, but the carbon monoxide is not working or is not functioning like it. But
The detector,
they had changed it. And let me tell you that the week before that happened, they had came in doing inspection. The week before they came in, they had just had an inspection. So
Yeah, it doesn't even matter, you know.
but they came and changed the stove, whatever happened. I don't know if it was the stove, I don't know what happened. But like I said, I have a lot of that. See, now it's getting better, but I got pieces when that window fell on me. And I kept on saying that, you know, because, and this is one of them, when I called and said what happened, the answer for her, it was like, you're not supposed to open those windows. You're not supposed to be opening the twin windows. Those twin windows are not to be open. I say, excuse me? What do you mean I can open my twin window? She's like, no, that's
I
why.
mean, we see it time and time again where they blame
Look, I
houses.
have to put this in order to hold. Look. That's how it came down from my hand. I was here, look, and this is the way you have to open it. You have to hold. And I was just like this. Looking at my window, whack, that came down. My sister, this one, hit it right in the neck.
Oh my god.
So they're saying you're not supposed to open the screen
This
window?
one, and you see how hard? So this is supposed to be sealed. It's supposed to be not to be open. And I understand that children. That I understand. But in case of an emergency, they seal. How am I going to get out of here?
Right. People have clarity about this. They do. And a lot of people are pissed off. And a lot of people are choosing to come together to struggle against this stuff. And we're hoping that that can be more and more people with stuff like this.
It was nice
Thank
to
you so
meet
much.
you.
Yes.
One-on-one.
Say bye-bye. See you later. Say bye. You say bye.
Bye-bye.
You like this?
All right.
Alrighty, nice to meet you. Thank you.
There's one more person who's her neighbor.
Okay.
Yes.
His name is John. John, this is Sabby.
Hello.
Here.
Nice to meet you. I'm Sabrina.
We just talked to Myra for the past 30 minutes or so, and we were talking a little bit about the issue with the ceiling in the roof, the leaks and stuff, but then also just the dynamics here, like the board and the management company and how they haven't been fixing things and all of that stuff.
What are some of the issues that you've had to deal with?
Oh, the first thing is every 5 years you're supposed to get the apartments painted. I think since they did that, it's maybe 5-10 years, maybe longer. We had this place painted, and not the only person, everybody. That's my biggest complaint, other than the roof leaking and the ceiling. Every time it rains, I just discovered that and maybe a month ago we had a big rainstorm just before it, and that's when I discovered, I heard it dripping. I saw the discolor in it, but I didn't pay any mind. That's in the bedroom. I didn't pay any mind. I thought, that since it hasn't been painted, that it was discolored, But it turned out to be that it's a leak. And I don't know how long it's been there.
Have they have you spoken to maintenance about the leaks?
No, I haven't gotten around to that yet. I had talked to my sister, and she told me that before I fill out a form on what's going on, they said I should, because when I discovered it, I haven't discussed anything with the maintenance, or so. She said that I should give them the benefit of the doubt, seeing if they're going to come and fix it. And not like a half-assed job like they've been doing in the hallways. They have a lot of leaks down at the other end. Time it rains, and they put these cloths down. A couple of pillowcases. And this isn't the people who live in the apartment were sleeping next to them. That's been going on for a long time. It's been a while since it's been weakened, but I'm sure that, I mean, if you're gonna fix the roof, you have to pull out all the stuff that's there to get to the wood frame, and then you cover it up again. But they're like patching things up, and that's not gonna last long. And the hallways tells the story.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing too, because they may not know about people's leaks in their individual apartments, and they know about some, but they know about the hallway leaks. They know that there's an issue. They do. It's
Big time.
big time. They know.
Yeah.
And so,
And
what do? They patch it up. That's what they do every single time.
And the worst thing about it is they have no respect for the tenants that live here who pays their rent. And when the rain stops, the pillowcases, whatever they use, they leave it there for the next rain. That's something I did. It was never down this end, but it was always in the 1820 side. Yeah, that's been going on for years now here.
So the roof has to be fixed
Right.
because this
Not
was
patched.
right. Right. Yeah. For those who are not aware, if you don't, we had this issue in Cambridge in a building that we lived in Cambridge, and we had when we had heavy rainstorms, we would get these leaks in certain parts of the apartment, and we complained to the landlord about it multiple times, and the landlord was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll come out and fix it." That went on for like 2 years, like never came out and fixed it. And then it was that year when we had those three snowstorms. It was 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And then they just kept coming and they shut down the T and everything. At that point, there was no stopping it. So that leak that we had, everything just started coming through. When we moved the dresser away from the wall, there was a big wet spot on the wall because it just couldn't take it anymore. And so we had contacted like Cambridge Housing Authority at that time, and they said they were the ones that told me it's the roof. And they said, and the landlord 9 times out of 10 knows that, but doesn't want to fix
They
it
don't want to fix it.
because it costs too much.
But
So
they raise the rent.
exactly.
And the rent that they raised was supposed to be to fix all this stuff.
Yep.
But they raised the rent, but nothing was done. So
Yeah,
where does the money go?
Their excuse is always that I can't do it right now because it's wet. I'll do it when it's dry. But then it would be dry, and then they wouldn't do anything about it. And then
Yeah.
next time the rain comes on, we're in the same situation.
Yeah, the slumlords always find an excuse,
Right.
no matter what,
Yeah,
just to do
yeah.
nothing, because they want to hold on to the property, to raise the rents, and not have to funnel any money into repairs. It's a classic story where you lived here, at other developments in the city and across the country.
Yeah. I think that it just, I mean, the structural, number one, the leaks are concerning because that can lead to mold because the water is seeping into the walls. So that's the other thing too. They don't want to go into the walls because they know that's going to cost more money. So the water is seeping into the walls to mold. And then the other problem that the structural, and we were talking about this in the other apartment, there should not, when you start to see separation like that in between like the ceiling and the wall, that's now an infrastructure issue. And what happens if we get a bad storm, God forbid hurricane or whatever, we get a bad storm, this building is not structurally sound. And that's the thing. And who's going to be hit first? The people on the top floor. The
Yeah,
people
but we
on the
have
first
this.
floor.
We have this problem. I don't know what it is because we're not allowed to go up on the roof, you know, that's locked up. They had claimed that the rent was being raised to fix this roof. And everybody's rent went sky high to fix the roof or, you know, whatever problems that we have. They raised everyone's rent. I'm on Section 8, so they didn't, you know, touch me. But everybody else, you know, they were paying all this money, thousands of dollars for a month for an apartment that they don't take care of. Good example. Some kind of gook that came up from the floor in here, and I had called them to tell them about it because I don't know where it came from. I don't put anything wet and nasty on the floor. It just came, you know, just appeared, you know, small, then bigger, bigger, bigger. So when I had told them about the problem, they said, well, you know, they were gonna take care of the problem. But it sounds like there's something really heavy. It goes from this, I don't know how far down it goes, but it sounds, for a long time I thought 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, why is my neighbor sound like a dresser moving furniture 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? And then, you know, I thought it was just in my bedroom. One day I was sitting out here watching TV, and it just, you know, and you could hear how heavy it is. This is heavy, you know, and it's scary because when is that gonna cave in from all the, you know, I don't know what it is. No, none of us know what that is, but we have been complaining about it, and it still happens. What could be up there that heavy to move like that? You know, we don't know. They know. You know, they know what's going on up there. But my fear is that this is a heavy object going across the roof here. And how much rot in the roof that we got from the rain before that thing crashes through our apartment. And God help us if we're underneath when that happens, because the weight would probably kill us, you know. That's my biggest concern. You know, what the hell is that? And why isn't it stationed? You know, why this thing has to move from one end to another end? You know, and it happens a lot. It's not like it just happens once in a while or when it rains or when it snows. This happens a lot. So, and well, this new counter in here, when they changed that, put all new gadgets in here. It was like that.
Like leaking out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I called, they came up, and he told me, oh, that's not supposed to. I don't like getting into competition with people about anything. I grew up in a hard project, and, you know, we some tough people that grows up in the hood, you know. When I was younger, we had the same thing in the projects, the same kind of problem we have here. When we first moved in, they had meetings, and the first thing they said is that this isn't going to be a project. We were supposed to, in 20 years, to own our own apartment after 20 years. This was the agreement that they said was supposed to happen. Never happened.
Oh, wow.
Never, ever happened. This is over 20 years I've been here. This should be my apartment, my condo, you know? Never happened. This ain't gonna be like a project. This is worse.
You're hearing like what happened with Bromley Heath, and then here, it's frustrating.
Yeah, no, and we really need people to be pissed off about this stuff, I think, because, you know, I think in the larger media, they do a great job obscuring what's going on and saying, you know, privatization, it's actually really good for the tenants, you know?
Right.
Even this thing of tenant ownership, it's like, you know, okay, don't think about the overall context in which this building will exist, the fact that rents will still go up even if you own the building, but we give you this, you know? It'll improve this stuff for you.
Right.
And even that, it's selling them on a lie.
Even like telling people that they can own after 20 years, like it's such.
Yeah, it's hooking people on a dream and then keeping them hooked on that dream so that, you know, they won't move, they'll stay here, and then in the meanwhile, what do? They just let these places rot, literally. They still have to kiss the feet of this private management company.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is 1820 and 1850 here. This is the major building that most people live in. And then there's another one here. This is the Islamic building. It's got a couple less floors, a couple less units, but yeah, it's just the same. And yeah, same thing going on there. And then these are the townhouses, which we can go over to. And this is what Myra was talking about. This is a lot of the families of the tenant board have been moved in, settled in here.
Oh, okay.
And these are kind of like the bigger home things.
Okay.
And so, yeah, this is kind of where a lot of their family lives. And then the thing also about the fact that they're shuttling in all their family is that you've got people that live here that are completely underhoused. You know, they're cramming their kids into one bedroom, 2 or 3 kids, and they're trying to just move within the development to get a bigger apartment, and they can't. But it's not the case that there aren't apartments that are big enough that do exist that could house them. It's the fact that they keep moving in their freaking family and prioritizing that. Same with parking. They keep prioritizing their family, even when people who are handicapped can't get parking. So it's just, you know, those dynamics are pretty bad.
And then there was another thing that was on Twitter where there were the holes in the ground.
Yeah, so those are rat holes. And there are a fair amount of them, and so what they do is, you know, you can see that there's like mulch here and stuff. They'll just take mulch, extra mulch, and they'll throw it in the holes. And then they'll be like, okay, rat problem solved, we're done. Obviously the rats are still, you know, they're in their holes, they're in there even though there's mulch over them, and so they just dig themselves out. They're still in the building.
This is terrible. I want to show people the front of the building again because I want people to see on the outside, everything looks okay for the most part. So you wouldn't think the issues that are inside are happening. You wouldn't think those issues are happening.
Yeah.
See, they're really good about that.
Oh yeah. Yep, maintaining the outside, do it for the rich people coming in to say that, oh, you don't live near poor people, don't worry. You know, they give them cheese and stuff, which, like, I mean, this stuff is really nice, but it's not about the tenants at all. Yeah.
There was another building, the building across the street.
Yeah, so there's a luxury development happening over here, and then there's another Section 8 building across the street, and then there's a private, in the process of being privatized building, currently privatized actually, project that's right near that. Okay. But you can actually, yeah, we'll just go around the perimeter and you can see all the luxury developments.
Okay.
This is actually my famous sister.
Okay.
The church. And then, yeah, you've got some apartments to the left. You can see them right there.
Oh, those are the luxury condos?
Yeah. They have the same kind of characteristic of all these new luxury buildings.
The
that are coming
boxy
up.
look.
The boxy look, yes.
Yeah. They don't disguise them at all.
No.
So yeah, those are new condos like over there. Luxury apartments, condos, whatever you want to call them. Either way, they're luxury. And And see, this is the problem. So you have like these surrounding luxury apartments around a housing
You
project.
can see them over here too. We've got this stuff over here. And then there's one immediately to the left here. It's literally surrounding the perimeter.
Let's go over there.
Yeah.
Let's just show.
Yeah,
So they're basically trying to let the building fall apart to push them out so that they can put another luxury building here.
exactly. And so it's pretty clear that this is what they're doing. With the markup to market, which was the rent increase that happened 2 years ago. John was talking about this too. So they raised the rents, right? They raised the rents, and then some people are still on Section 8. And so the Section 8 covers a lot of that rent, even though it was raised. And so the excuse by the management company was that, or the justification was that, okay, yeah, we raised your rents, we doubled, nearly tripled the cap, but like, you still have subsidies, so it's not really increasing your rents.
Right.
And while it's true, it's not for everybody. There are a lot of people, which, yeah, they did have to pay double or triple, and then they left, a lot of people, but a few people. But for a lot of people, yeah, so you raise the rents, and a lot of people have subsidies, but they're not paying that money, that double or triple rent, out of pocket necessarily. But all of that money that is being covered by subsidy is going into the pockets of this private management company that is still not doing anything about the building. And the justification for the markup to market, for the rent increase, was to do something about the building. And so they haven't done nothing, they're making more revenue, and then the rents are increasing for the people on subsidy, by a bit by bit. They're phasing it in, but they're still increasing their rents.
So nice. So yeah, another luxury apartment building going up here. So basically, the housing project is surrounded by luxury apartments. This is what I mean. Like when I tell you guys about the gentrification, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yep, these massive investments into poor and working class neighborhoods that do absolutely, it has nothing to do with housing these people that live here. It's just a matter of making these exuberant, very expensive luxury developments that they can funnel a new population in that can pay higher rents, which then, rents go up across the board and then people get pushed out. And it's a little bit different than just private housing because, like in Section 8 and stuff, people are on subsidy, so there's a little bit of a protection there, but still, you see, even here, they raise the rents.
Yep.
Some people have to leave. And then what's the fate when, there's an expiration to the contract here? They're already tearing the building. They'll probably have this big excuse of saying, oh, we can't afford to pay for this stuff. We're not getting a big enough revenue for the rents, blah, 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 blah. And there's a chance they'll just try to turn this thing into a luxury development too.
It's terrible. This is terrible. I mean, why can't this building look like that building or what that building's going to look like? I'm looking at the picture right now. They don't care about like poor people. They really don't. And you were saying something about the life expectancy when you walk across Mass Ave.
Yeah. When you walk over to the side of Mass Ave, which is Roxbury, it drops by 33 years, I think, actually.
That's crazy.
And so, it's a strict divide, but then it's also encroaching. It's not really a divide so much anymore because things are changing and there's more investments being made into the land and they're moving more rich people in who can pay for these expensive rents and investing more, speculating more. Housing bubble's getting bigger. And what does that do for people that are poor and working class? Well, yeah, they can't pay these rents. And inevitably, these private management companies or these property management companies like DHA2, which is a private, but they still have an interest in just selling off the buildings in order to have, some private management company turn money on that so that they can, push the rents higher and have people that can afford those things. But yet, so many of these media outlets are obscuring this kind of a thing. These like odd debates of like, is gentrification good or bad?
Right.
And then not even talking about the basic things that are happening in these buildings. Like you went inside, like you go in and you're like, okay, no, I don't have to be an engineer to know that this is fucking wrong. These leaks, that's bad. I don't need an inspection services department person to tell me that. It's persistent. This is happening. There's an issue with the roof. It's clear. Something needs to be done. Why isn't it being done? They have no interest in actually fixing these buildings because their real interest lies in being able to develop them, turn them into more expensive apartments, and kick the people out. So it's,
I can see a gap. Even from here, I can see a gap. If I look up at the top of the roof, there's a gap right there where there's that little flap, that brown flap. There's a gap between that and the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, roof is supposed to be replaced how many years? How many years did they tell us? What is it? I think it's a certain number of years the roof is supposed to be replaced. At least in Massachusetts because of the snow.
It's really bad here when it snows. Yeah. And the leaks are, every day.
a mess. And then you see this with the trash?
Oh yeah, this is just another issue on top of all the other ones. And a lot of times it spills over and it's just everywhere. They don't have regular trash pickups, and then what else is attracting the rats? You know, that's definitely one of them.
This is attracting the, like, what is the deal with the trash? Why haven't they done the trash pickup? What is this? Trash day came already. You see what I'm saying?
Actually, right here too, we were talking about parking. So you've got all these spots here that many people don't get, and then you've got this right here. You see this van? That van used to shuttle kids that were a part of a program to different events and to take them out and do activities and stuff. And it's just been sitting there. There hasn't been anything done for years and years and years and years, taking up a parking spot, and they just leave it there.
And also, I'm really pissed that no one has come to pick up this damn trash.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I know trash day has already come and gone.
Yeah. No,
It's just like they just don't care.
And just one more thing. The food pantry that we've been talking about, it's right here. It's not open right now. It's normally Thursdays and another day in the week. And so they out of the office they shuttle the food. But then, as Maya was talking about, they shuttle the food out. And so they give it to some people. In the midst of this all, it's like Jesse running this thing and him just looking at people and being like, yep, nope. Who he wants to give food to? Yep, pretty racist guy, shoving people around. Very, disrespectful, abusive in ways. Then this thing's happening. They're giving some food to some people, and then they're also selling off food very clearly to like restaurant owners and stuff in the area.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get kicked out of this place for saying that, so I don't care. But that's pretty much what's happening.
I just want to say this is a part of the liberal hypocrisy that I've been talking about. You see the sign across the street in the window says Black Lives Matter, but obviously, as you can tell from what we've just seen, the building we were just in, obviously they don't think that.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about with the liberal hypocrisy.
It's a really good point because you see it. It's on Fenway. It's across. If you go into Dudley, it's on the road. Black Lives Matter. Big words. What the heck is happening in Nubian now? Gentrification. What the heck is happening in these areas where black people live? They're being run out. So do black eyes really matter? No. Yeah, no. It's just a slogan for them to take up to pretend like they actually care about black people. It's this whole thing of identity politics, and it's really frustrating because it's obscuring the reality of what's actually happening to black people and people across the board, poor and working class people. There's been a series of ways in which like the housing authorities and HUD and these private management companies have been able to keep them isolated from each other.
The other thing I've noticed too is like once you get away from like I guess what people would call Boston proper, although Roxbury and Dorchester are older than Back Bay, but people refer to Back Bay and Beacon Hill as like Boston proper. You do not have the subway stops once you come into the what used to be the black neighborhoods here. You get a bus. They get a bus stop, but they don't have a subway.
Sabby, not only that, the Silver Line was only created for the Seaport District,
Yep.
and that was created 20 years ago by Mayor Menino.
Yep.
Like, that is the only reason why the Silver Line even exists right here.
Yeah.
To shuttle people into Seaport.
This is the if you can show them, we're on East Lenox Street and Washington Street. This is a bus. It's a bus line. It's not a subway. So that's the thing. The further you get away from Boston proper, those opportunities are limited.
And then, when they do exist, a lot of these different private developers, investors, banks, whatever, they seize on the opportunity to create housing around the T-stops because it's convenient for people to get to downtown. And so it's just like, it's this paradox of like, people can't have the basic things to be able to get themselves to and from their jobs and whatnot, these things of accessibility that, they end up being a venture for profitability. And then what? Like people want a T-stop, they get a T-stop, and then they lose their homes? It's crazy.
So again, if we go around to the front, you'll see everything looks to be okay. This is kind of where Roxbury meets South End.
Yeah, that's Mass Ave right there.
So you see from the outside, everything look okay. It looks okay.
They have the same interests. Once they bring in money, then rents get higher, property values go up, property taxes go up, and a series of other things too. Like you bring more investment into the land when you're allowing more investment into the land. and then that's good for the city. And so yeah, they're not actually a fetter against private capital. They're working with them in a lot of ways. And yeah, it's really clear when these politicians go around, they try to use these platitudes to say that oh, like, we care so much and we want to do so much for you and we'll help you and this is so bad, and these private management companies are so bad. You get donations from them. you work with them on these projects to make Boston a better city, in which that just means you're building these luxury developments further and further. You're bringing in the Whole Foods and the Starbucks and whatever. You're running people out, and that's what's happening. And you try to obscure it, but that's what's happening.
I agree.
Yeah, really great to talk to you. You're a fantastic reporter, and I think we're going to be having a series of like press conferences and stuff about what's going on here. Bromley, Commonwealth is another development in Boston we've been working in, and trying to really connect the dots between the struggles. Have the media come out to cover this stuff. And it would be great to have you come to any of that. And if you do want to talk to some of the people also that live here that wanted to talk to you too at any point, we can do that also.
Yeah, definitely. Keep me posted about that, because especially the conference thing, because there are other people here too, like Andrew's with the People Voice Network. Like, he'd probably want to come out.
That'd be great.
Too. So the more people, the more eyes that we can get on it, the better.
Yeah, definitely. It was great meeting you.
You
Good
too.
talking to you. Yeah.